A lot of clients have gotten these alerts. I think they're texts from uh USCIS, just basically saying that, we're terminating your parole. Um, and if you don't leave the United States immediately, you will be subject to potential law enforcement actions that will result in your removal from the United States unless you have otherwise obtained a lawful status or lawful basis to stay here. So I think a lot of people are getting these on their cell phones. So just yet another thing to look out for. Um, and I think attorneys are trying to figure out like who is USCIS or DHS sending out these alerts to? What kind of parole um, programs are, triggering this kind of scary message to be sent by DHS? So yeah, there's a lot happening here. The other thing I noticed by going to USCIS on these interviews is that the messaging is a lot um negative, a lot more negative in the past. So like when you go to an immigration office, USCIS, there are screens, there are TV screens, and in the past, depending on the field office, they would have these TV screens so that clients who are scheduled for interviews can just pass the time, right? You typically have to wait to be called for your interview. You're not going to be called exactly at 9 if your interview says that you are scheduled for 9. More than likely than not, you're there waiting an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to be called. So in the past, in the waiting areas, USCIS would have these TV screens and there'd be some channel on, whether it's some news program or whatever. But now that's no longer the case, right? They are the what is displayed on these screens are not just TV shows or news shows. They are messages from USCIS and they're all scary. They're all sending the message that if you have engaged in fraud, we will find out and we will deport you. It's all negative in tone. It's all meant to scare. And it's like the climate has just completely changed since the new administration. None of it is about providing services, right? Which is the last word in the name of the agency, USCIS. S stands for services. None of it is about that. None of it is about, welcome to the US. If you're applying for naturalization, we encourage you to apply for citizenship. It is all about basically threats and this kind of assumption that most clients who are applying for an application or a petition are immediately kind of suspected of engaging in fraud or not qualifying for the benefit that they're seeking because you may have committed a crime, and if you did, then you're not going to be approved and we're going to find you and we're going to deport you. That is the what you see on the screens these days when you show up in immigration. And you know I can't imagine what it's like for someone who's applying for citizenship, right? To be walking in, waiting to be called by their officer, and then seeing these messages all over. And that's all that's being displayed now. So um, it's just a very kind of very different tone now. I don't ever remember any other administration going to such lengths to send out this message to discourage and to scare.